Welcome. It's a great day at Palm Valley Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Dave Koppel, and we are glad that you're here with us on this holiday weekend. Please take a moment to fill out your connection card by scanning the QR code on your screen so we know that you're here worshiping with us. Today, we're going to talk about freedom. Our reading for today comes from Matthew 11. But to what will I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplaces and calling to one another, "We played the flute for you and you did not dance. We wailed and you did not mourn. For John came, neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Yet wisdom is vindicated by her deeds." At that time, Jesus said, "I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and the intelligent and have revealed them to infants. Yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I hope you all had a great Independence Day. How about that parade? You know, I love America. There are some things that are distinctly American. Have you ever been to the Austin Rodeo? When I was a little kid growing up out west, one of the things we used to do now and then was go to a rodeo. In fact, there was nothing like a 4th of July rodeo. I enjoyed watching the bucking bronchos, the rodeo clowns, and I was impressed by the way they could protect the guys who had fallen from the big bulls. But I was most intrigued by the kids, little kids, just like me, who would ride out on a horse, lasso a calf, jump down and tie it up in mere seconds. And the poor calf never knew what hit it. All of a sudden it came out of a chute and had freedom, and then suddenly it got cut around the neck and wham, it was all tied up. A taste of freedom, and it was jerked away from them before they knew it. Sometimes we can identify with that. St. Paul, in our lesson from Romans, tells us how he really wanted to do good, to lead a perfect life, to be right with God. To him, that's what freedom was all about, but he simply couldn't pull it off. In his words, "I don't understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." Or to put it another way, I don't have what it takes. I can will it, but I can't do it. I decide to do good, but I don't really do it. I decide not to do bad, and then I do it anyway. See, there's always something that gets in the way, something that waylays the best of intentions, something that fouls us up and jerks us like that little calf being jerked by the lasso, and it keeps us from the life and meaning that we seek. Do you ever feel that way? Remember the story of the rich young man who came to Jesus and asked what he needed to do? Jesus told him, keep all the commandments, and he assured Jesus he had done just that. But then Jesus told him to sell all he had and give it to the poor, and then to come and follow him. And the man went away sad because he had many possessions. You see, for that young man, all those possessions were like that rope around the calf's neck. Yank! He didn't own them, they owned him, and they robbed him of his freedom. Jesus talked about money and possessions 1 out of every 10 verses of the Gospels. That's over 2,000 verses. And I think that was because so many of us are slaves to stuff that keeps us from following Christ, stuff that keeps us from real freedom. You know what I mean. The more you have, the more you feel you need. And then you need a place to store things, and then locks to keep them safe, maybe a security system. And of course, there's the way you worry about them when you're away. Stuff can own you. But it isn't just money and possessions that have us by the neck. You might think that freedom means doing whatever you feel like, which is fun for about 2 minutes until you have to deal with the consequences. Is freedom eating as much as you want and drinking as much as you want? It might seem that way. You're on your 3rd helping at Salt Lick Barbecue or Chuy's or Saltgrass, and you got a weight problem and 20 books on sensible dieting at home on the shelf, and guilt and cholesterol, and your clothes don't fit anymore. Or is freedom being a party guy or gal and hitting the bottle a lot? I mean, hey, it's still 4th of July weekend, give me another beer. And jerk, now you can't get through another day without a drink or two to help calm you down or loosen you up. What's got you by the neck? It doesn't have to be food or alcohol. It might be depression, so bad that you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. It might be your own past and the guilt over something you've regretted for years. It might be the need to always be right and the need for everyone to agree with you or for everything to go your way. It could be the endless craving to have more. It might be the constant need to find things that bolster your self-image. It might be your inability to stop criticizing others or the need for control. Maybe it's even your preconceived notion or your need to decide who God is and how he ought to act. Look at today's gospel. People were criticizing Jesus, and Jesus compared them to little kids. He said, look, you complain about John because he was living an austere life. He didn't eat or drink with you. Now I come and I eat and drink with you, and you call me a glutton and a drunkard. The people were acting like little kids, calling out, if you're not going to be the Messiah my way, then I'll leave. I'll take my marbles and go home. If you're going to be this nice to sinners, if you eat and drink too much, if you don't party enough, or if you party too much, or if you don't heal my child, or if you don't answer my prayer, if you don't do it my way, then I'm out of here. And you can't be the Messiah anymore. We'll find ourselves a brand new Messiah. So there. They weren't interested in truth. They wanted to just be proven right and justify their lives and condemn others. And they wouldn't be satisfied until they found a Messiah who would do just that. Jesus understood, and he loved them anyway, and he invited them to a new freedom. But they had to let go of what they were holding on to so tightly so they could take it. It's similar to Paul and his struggle with his inability to even control himself. In the end, he found that only by being connected to Jesus could he begin to live a life of freedom. Jesus said, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. You will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Yoke? Burden? That doesn't sound like freedom. But wait, a yoke is a device for helping animals carry a heavy load. By itself, one horse can pull about 2 tons. So 2 horses working separately will pull about 4 tons. But yoked together, 2 horses can pull 18 tons. No kidding. A yoke is a way to lighten the burden and help you bear a heavy load. Maybe a load that there's no way on God's green earth that you can possibly handle yourself. The addiction to eating or to drugs or alcohol or pornography or possessions. Or else it's the heavy load of depression or guilt or trying to justify yourself. To those ready to find a new way to live and love, Jesus says, I am that way. To those tired of looking for truth in a world where our wisdom falls short, Jesus says, I am the truth. To those tired of struggling with the burdens of life, Jesus says, I will show you a new life. Come, you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Yoke yourself to me. Join me as we walk a new way. You'll find the peace and satisfaction you never thought was possible. Walk with me, and as we come and work together, all the burdens will seem light. I recently heard the story of a little girl who saved for a long time until she could buy a plastic string of pearls from the toy store. She had wanted them for so long, and one day she had saved enough to go and buy them. So she went to the store and paid for them and immediately put them around her neck. She wore them for the rest of the day. That night, after her prayers, as her daddy was tucking her into bed, he said, honey, can I have your pearls? She said, no, Daddy, these are mine. The next night, after prayers, her daddy asked for the pearls again. She said, no, Daddy, why do you ask for them again? I saved a long time for these. No. The third night after the prayers, the little girl began to cry. Her daddy asked what was wrong, and she said, Daddy, I know what you're going to do. You're going to ask me for the pearls again. And her daddy said, can I have them? And she said, Daddy, you know how I saved. You know how much I love them. You know what they mean to me. But if you really want them, here they are. And she took them off and handed them to him. And Daddy reached into his pocket and he took out a black velvet case and opened it up. And in it was a string of real pearls. He took them out and put them around her neck. He said, I've had these for you all along, but you had to let go of the others first. Today, Jesus asks for your burdens and for the things that you clutch ever so tightly, because he has the best gift of all for you. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden light. Come to the table today. Taste what true freedom is. Amen. Go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. The peace of the Lord be with you always. Let's take a moment and share the peace with each other. Thanks so much for joining us today. There are a few things coming up that you're going to want to know about. Middle School Experience Days will be coming up from July 27th through 30th. For more information, contact our youth director, Jordana, at youth@pvlc.org. Again, thanks so much for being here with us. Remember, you can connect with us any day of the week on Facebook or on our website, and watch our live streams every Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.